tuned in to Thirst Trap Boys.
Oh,
Dante, I sucked your
good
dick.
morning. Good night.
Dante,
You was
I
a number
sucked your
3.
dick.
You was a 3.
He a
You
motherfucking
didn't
liar.
do
I
it?
never
You
sucked
ain't
that
do
nigga dick.
it?
I'll tell you the dead honest truth. One morning we woke up and I licked the top of his little weak ass head, and that dick was little. And bitch, that's why we kept it moving. Dante, stop sitting here lying saying I gave you head.
Honestly,
you still got bruises.
Honestly, you need to go choke on a motherfucking dick, bitch. Okay? Because the fact that you want to sit here and say that I got beat up in a fight that wasn't a fucking fight, you don't know nothing about fighting. So I suggest you to shut the fuck up. You fucking walking disease ass looking ass
Girl,
bitch.
he had his steroid
You're
protein
ugly.
shake today.
You're ugly, my nigga. You're ugly.
There's one. Do you know what? It's called Large Penis Support Group or Community. You know what? No, you know yeah. Do you know what I'm right? So one time I looked my name up on Google and I clicked on images. My shit popped up. I was like, no way.
Cash Rico situation, I felt like I was being put on this, what do you call it, where people kind of put you, like in the old days, they put you and they throw fruit and stuff at you. I don't know what it's called, whatever that's called.
Throwing tomato.
Yeah, like I felt like I was put in like this cage for the world to see.
Can I call a friend? Can I phone a friend, bitch? Can you help a bitch out?
Is this in Spanish? It's a Spanish text.
Oh, this is hard. Damn.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the one and only ScottyByNatureTv. He's a 10-year YouTube veteran. He reviews shows. He has his own shows, which include like The Prelude, Boys Night Out. He's also a member of the Just Us League, right? The Just Us League?
Yes.
And many more others. He has over 11 million channel views. The guy is a GOAT in the YouTube community.
Lord.
And I don't really think he's ever been interviewed on this level one-on-one. So I think it's time we all get to know a little bit more about ScottyByNatureTv. Okay. So you're from Mississippi, correct?
Yes.
Are you born and raised there?
Born and raised.
Okay. Now, what is it like growing up there, you know, as a black gay man in the deep South? How has that experience been for you?
Okay, well, when people hear the word Mississippi, the first thing they think of is, this is very, like, especially people up north, the first thing they think of is people getting lynched or you run into racist people. But me personally, I've never really had a racial experience before. And if I did, I probably just didn't know that I was having it. But I've never just had like a racial experience before living in Mississippi. Being black and gay, you know, being in Mississippi, you know that, you know, it's a Bible thumping state. You know, you have a whole lot of Christianity around here, and some people don't understand it. You know, it's, you know, you can't say that we're a little behind on things, because you don't really see many like transgender people around here. You may see maybe one or two, three or four, something like that. It's not many around here. And it's just, it's country. You know, people don't understand it, but you know, it takes some time for people to really understand it and get it, you know. But I never really just had many issues.
Okay.
You know,
What does one do in Mississippi for fun? Like, what are your hobbies? Tell a New York guy, if I go to Mississippi, what am I doing for fun? What are we doing?
nothing.
Nothing at all? No, you don't go fishing, you don't go hiking, you don't.
Where are we hiking at? Like, I'm here and don't know nothing about going hiking. The only thing that I would say is that, like, okay, like in October, we have the state fair. That's fun, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that much here. That's why people leave and go somewhere else. It's not much really to do. Like, if we want to go and have some real fun, we got to go to New Orleans or Memphis or something, because those are the closest you know, big cities to us. So we'll have to go to New Orleans to go on Bourbon or something like that, do some shit like that, or we'll go to Memphis or something like that, because it's closer. So, because it ain't that much around here. What we gonna do to have fun? Hell, I have fun going to Walmart. What we gonna do to have fun?
So no fishing for you.
I don't do fishing. My dad does fishing, but you know, my dad is in Jersey, so whenever he comes down south, that's what he wants to do, is go fishing. But I'm not that type of bitch. I'm not going fishing with him. You better go with somebody else.
You're 32, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and your birthday is when?
February the 12th, 1989.
Okay, so you're an Aquarius. Now, when you realized you were an Aquarius, did you want to jump out of a fucking window? Because I think I would have, to be honest.
I love being an Aquarius. We're very misunderstood.
You know how to throw my little Aquarius shade in there. No shade.
That's why I said what I said, because I already knew that was gonna come. I already knew that was coming.
Listen to the Aquarius people watching. I'm sorry, I'm scarred. Okay, I was in a 5-year relationship with an Aquarius man, and I am scarred. I will never forget it. Okay, never. If he is watching now, fuck you.
We are very unforgettable people. Very unforgettable people.
Ooh, unforgettable. I will give you guys that. At what age did you realize you were a part of the LGBTQIA plus 2PPCYDFHN, community? Yeah.
I would say that the first time I got a whiff of it, in a sense, I had to be, and all my friends laugh when I tell the story, but I had to be like 14. I remember Ashanti came out with, it was a world premiere of her video on 116 Park. It was the Rock With You video. When she
I knew it was that, because I was doing the math in my head. You were like, okay, 32. I was like 14. And I was like, oh, baby. Oh,
yeah.
baby. Okay.
Yeah, like that video had come out. And, you know, normally, like all my friends, you know, they were guys. All of them was focusing all their attention on Ashanti because she was showing a bunch of skin. But my attention was not on her. It was on the guy with the dark skinned guy with the braids. That was her love interest in the video. That's all I saw. I didn't see nothing else but him. But I was like, okay, what's going on here? Why am I? Then, because I told you before we even did this interview that I'm an open book, so you ain't no telling what's gonna come out of my mouth. But one of my first wet dreams was me thinking about a guy, and then that was kind of weird. And then, but what's crazy is that I never acted on it in high school. I was a virgin.
Wait, I gotta stop you real quick. Okay, hold on. So Ashanti's sideburns turned you gay. I'm glad we got that correct. And a wet dream. So wait, you actually had have I ever had a wet dream? I don't think I've ever had a wet dream. Now, for those who don't know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but a wet dream is when you're sleeping and you like orgasm in your sleep.
Yes.
What is that like? Oh, let's talk about it. Do you feel it, or do you just wake up with it?
You can feel it at the end, like when you wake up, you know, like when you open your eyes, you can feel it, and then you can hear that splash. It's kind of hard to explain, but I know I felt it, and I woke up. I know the first time it happened, I woke up and I pulled the covers up like. And I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what was going on with me. And I immediately ran, because I'm a mama's boy, ran to my mom and told her what was going on. She said, boy, you had a wet dream. That's all. There ain't nothing wrong with you. You just had a wet dream. Just go in there, change the drawers, take a shower, do whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. So that was the first time that happened. And then it happened maybe 2 or 3 more times when I was in high school. But like I said, I never acted on my feelings in high school ever. I was a virgin all throughout high school. I never had sex at all in high school. Never kissed anyone until I was in college.
Oh, wow. Okay. So when you had a wet dream, you ran to your mom with nut all over you. Like, Mom, what is going on? Got it.
Yeah. Basically.
How did your family take you being gay?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. When I first the way I came out was not a way I would have wanted to come out. I would say that I was pretty much forced to come out. I wasn't trying to come out. I was pretty much forced to, because I came out when I was like maybe 19 or 20. I came out to my friends first. Came out to all of my close friends first. I had a list of people I wanted to come out to, and I went down that entire list for about 2 weeks straight, told everybody. Everybody was okay with it, including all my straight friends. Everybody was okay. But then my mother always suspected that I was gay. So
mamas know.
Yeah, she always suspected it. So I never understood when it finally came about why she acted like she was so damn surprised when it finally came out. Like she was crying and shit, and what did I do wrong as a parent, all of that stuff. And my sister did not take it well at all. We did not talk for like a good 2 months. And my mother eventually came around, like even after she did all that damn crying about it. The next day, we were talking the very next day, but you know, after a while, she really came around to it and became very protective over me because I'm gay. So she eventually came around. My dad, I didn't even tell my dad. My mother told my dad, and he didn't have any reaction at all. It was okay. That's still my son. Okay. You know, he had the
I know that's right. Come on, Pops. Okay.
Yeah, like he had the coolest him and my youngest brother. My brother, I didn't know when to tell my youngest brother because he was very young when I came out. So he was like 12 when I came out to him. My mom was like, your brother is gonna have to know. You can't keep hiding it from him. So I came to him and I told him. He said, I already knew that.
Shut up, he said that?
Yeah, he said he already knew. And I was like, okay, so you're not going to disown me. You're not gonna like, he was like, why would I do that? So my brother and my dad had the best reaction. But my mom, I guess it was like a shock for her at first. Even though she knew it, it was just me saying it. And but after that, it's good. Like I can bring a man around her. She always want to know who I'm talking to. She you know, I can talk to my mom about anything. I can talk to my brother about anything too. So you know,
that's good. I'm so happy you had that experience because normally it's the other way around. Normally, like the moms are a little bit better with it, and the father is freaked the fuck out. But Do you remember your first kiss with the guy and how was it? Where were you at? The location? Do you remember?
Yes, I remember, and I hate that motherfucker now. But I was in college. I was 19. Um, he came to see me, as a matter of fact, because the college that I was going to, he lived around the block from it, so I was easy access for him. He could come and see me anytime he wanted to. And we were sitting in the car that night, and he just, went in for the kiss. And I had never kissed anyone before, so I was nervous. I thought I didn't know what I was doing. And then after the kiss was over, he was like, "You a good kisser." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, well, that was my first time." He didn't believe me, but it was. So he did not believe that I had never kissed anyone before. He didn't even believe I was a virgin because I was still a virgin. So
Yeah, I don't know. So, okay, so why did you wait for a kiss? At least I understand saving your virginity, but why so long for the kiss? Are you naturally shy in nature? Or, I mean, you're not a bad looking guy, so I'm not understanding the disconnect.
I am a little shy, but at the same time, like I said, in high school, I didn't have any sexual experiences. Like I wasn't intimate with anybody in high school, male nor female. I was always a loner. So that's why.
Okay. Now, once you came out, did you feel pressured by the gay community to pick a specific sexual position, like i.e. top, bottom, verse, top, verse, bottom? Or did you just naturally know what position you wanted?
I always knew what I wanted.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you want?
Although that desire may have kind of changed over the years, but I always knew that I wanted meat. That's what I always knew. But, over the years, I've kind of teeter-tottered between wanting to give the meat and then I'm all
so you would, okay, so they would call you nowadays. There's so many labels for everything. So nowadays, I guess you would be considered a verse bottom. Okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, to the single guys out there who might want them a piece of Scotty by Nature TV, what is your ideal type of guy to date? Does race, age, height, or matter to you?
I prefer black men, not to come across racist or anything like that, but that's just all I'm attracted to. Like there are some cute white guys, but at the same time, I just never just seen a white guy and just wanted to be with them. But I won't say that would probably never happen. I wouldn't say that, but as of now, I haven't seen none that really just interests me like that. But other than the whole, I prefer black men. I don't really care about the height and stuff like that because I've dated men that were shorter than me. I dated men that was taller than me, or the same height.
What about age?
Age really don't matter either. I'm just trying not to date too many more young men anymore because that's all that I normally attract is men I ain't gonna say men, guys that are younger than me because they think I'm their age and I'm not their age. And now
how young? Okay, so you're 32, right? So how young would you date now?
I don't think I will go any further than 27.
Okay. So you hear that, folks, to the men watching who want them a piece of Scotty by Nature TV. He said the height don't matter. If you're a midget, that's fine, okay? And he said you gotta be 27 and up and no unseasoned meat, okay? You must know how to season the chicken, okay? Now, being that you live in such a small town where everybody pretty much knows everybody, how is the dating life for you down there?
It's terrible, and that's why all the guys that I date are not in Mississippi.
But how does that work for you, being that they're not in Mississippi? How does long distance work for Scotty?
It works. It's difficult, but it works. All it takes is planning. I have the money to go and fly out if I want to, or I have the money where I can fly somebody else out if I want to do it or not. You know what I mean? Like I think it is what it is because I'm good with money. So it's like I have it. If I want it, I can get it. So it don't matter. Like my dating life here has been tragic for years. So like a lot of the times I meet guys and they're not even from here, but I make it work some kind of way.
Do you ever get worried, like, okay, this guy is all the way over here. Like, what if he's not where he says he is? Like, oh, hey, baby, I'm home right now. I'm gonna go to sleep, and it's like, I don't know.
I don't really be worried about that. I would say that if this was like back when I was in my 20s or something like that, I would be worried about something like that. But in my 30s, I could care less. Like, I don't be worried about that. Like, all I know is the truth always come to light. So when the truth come out, that's when I deal with it. But I'm not going to sit up here and worry myself about no man.
Okay, now could you, as a grown man now, could you date somebody? Not saying that you couldn't do it when you were in your 20s, but I'm just saying you're grown. So could you date somebody who, we have a stigma in our community regarding HIV. Could you date somebody who is HIV positive?
I have.
I know that's the fuck, right? Me too, period. Okay, now I remember somewhere you said that you were unfortunately sexually assaulted at work in a bathroom. Mm-hmm. That must have been so fucking traumatic for you. How old were you when that happened, and what did that situation do to you mentally, if anything?
Let's see. And let me make that clear too. It was an attempted sexual assault. Let me make that clear. So won't nobody, think nothing else. It was attempted. Thank God that he didn't go through. I'll probably get into it. You probably ask me more about it after I answer the question. But I was 25. I had just turned 25 when it happened. And
okay.
You said, how did that affect me mentally when it happened?
If it did that situation, did it make you more guarded, more aware of your surroundings, things of that nature?
Yeah, I would agree that it did because even like tonight, I was on the phone talking to this guy on the phone tonight. And I was walking up the street in my neighborhood and I saw two guys walking behind me, and I immediately got tense when I saw them walking behind me because I don't know what be on people's mind, and it's like, okay, what they trying to do. I walked real fast. I went a whole nother direction, and I was like, let me go the fuck home. Like, anytime someone, that a man that I don't know coming up on me like that, I have to be on guard. Or even it was another situation where a man kind of lured me to his house, and I knew we know some of the same people, so I'm thinking that he wanted me to come back for another reason, but he wanted me to come back because he wanted to sleep with me, and I didn't want to sleep with him. And he was not going to let me go unless I did something. So it was kind of like I was afraid of him because I knew he had been to jail before. And then on top of that, it was kind of like, okay, what is he going to do? So he would not let me leave unless I did something. So I didn't want to have sex with him. I didn't want to give him fellatio either. So every time I tried to leave, he wouldn't let me go. So I'm like, okay, do I have to sleep with this man so I can go home? But I didn't have to. But I did have to jack him off just so I could go home. And that shit's...
Men are trash. That was a trash ass story. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. What type of... I just cannot imagine being that horny or that fucking thirsty that you're like, you shall not leave my house until you like, what type of shit?
And what's crazy is I didn't even know that this man had a whole woman until after the incident happened. And I'm just like, my luck is just my luck.
how did you get out of the bathroom situation? Did you like bite his dick or something?
No. See, what happened was he asked where the bathroom was. I showed him where it was, but he didn't go in the bathroom right away. But I had to use the bathroom because he had me going all over this store. Like 1 minute he said he needed my help finding one thing. I show him where it, help him find that. He wanted to find something else. I helped him find it, and then it went that way. And then he gave me his phone number. He didn't even tell me what his name was. He just said they call me Mr. Good. I'm just like, okay. And he gave me his phone number, and I never had any intentions on calling him. And then he asked me where the bathroom was, and I pointed to it, and he was like, okay. But I had to take a piss, so I went to the bathroom, and as I'm washing my hands, someone comes in. I hear someone come in, but I don't think nothing of it. But someone comes in, and I feel someone grab me from behind, like on my ass. He grabbed a whole heap of my ass and asked me who was hitting me. And I immediately turned around and I'm like, what? And so he was like, go on a star with me. I said, oh no, I'm not doing that. And then he was like, go on a star with me. I'm like, no. And he grabbed me. He stuck his tongue in my mouth. And then when he stuck his tongue in my mouth, I pushed him off of me. So when I pushed him off of me, I'm trying to get out of the bathroom, but he stood in front of the door. So when he stood in front of the door, that's when I got intimidated, because I normally don't get intimidated by anybody. But when he stood in front of that door, I'm like, okay, if I don't fight this man up off of me, I'm going to be another statistic. So let me do what I need to do to get up out of here. So I think I want to say he turned the light off too. I want to say he turned the light off so I couldn't see. And then he walked up on me, he grabbed me again, and I just did him like this. And then I ran out of the bathroom. And when I ran out of the bathroom, I saw two coworkers. They were standing right there, and they asked me what was going on. And I was like, that man tried to rape me in there, like straight up. But they did not take me seriously at all. They thought it was funny. And he come out the bathroom, and I need some time to really like get myself together, because this man just tried to assault me in the bathroom. So I need some time to myself right quick. And then they tell me, you got a customer at the register. And who is the customer? It's him. So now I'm forced to ring him up and all of this other stuff. And I just would not give him any eye contact. It was just
Mr. Good. Was that the motherfucking what?
I didn't see that man again for like maybe 9 months. And when I saw that man again after that, I recognized those eyes anywhere. He had some pretty brown eyes. And when I saw those eyes, I said, I gotta get out of here. I said, y'all, I'm going on break. And after that, I didn't see him no more. That was like 2014. I haven't seen him since that year.
I'm so sorry that happened to you, and to anybody watching who's ever been a victim of, sexual assault. My heart goes out to you. I know I've been a victim. So, what I want to know is, if he didn't do any of that, would you have called him at all?
No.
You said no, right? He was not your type. Okay. Now, did that situation affect how you are in relationships? Do you think the effect of that is maybe a cause to why you really haven't had any long-term relationships?
You know what? I never thought about it that way. Because after that incident, that's really when I started having the worst luck with men after that. That was the worst. Like that year, as far as men is concerned, was the worst time. It was L after L after L after L after L. Every time I deal with a man, it's a L. So I don't know. That could be part of the reason. Probably why I don't trust many men like that. If you got my trust, then you really doing a hell of a job. And when I feel like my trust is being violated, then that's a whole nother story. So that could be part of the reason why.
Yeah. I always ask people to like. Sometimes you have to like really do some deep soul searching to figure out because things have connections. Like things that have happened to us, they all connect, and sometimes we put it on the back burner and we don't really realize like, oh shit, my reaction is because of something that happened like 5 years ago. And I don't even know it. So you know. Now, I understand if I'm correct. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I understand that you don't want to have any kids. Correct? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Why is that? Are you afraid you won't be a good father? Do you feel like you're not financially independent enough to have the children, or what's going on? Why?
I mean, maybe it's a selfish thing.
You just hate kids? Fuck them kids. That's what it is.
I don't really like kids, but kids love me, and I don't understand why. Because I don't like kids like that. And I just think it's the thing of having to take care of a whole nother human and being responsible for a whole nother human and having to sacrifice for a whole nother human and stuff like that. I think that's what it is. And on top of that, because I feel like because the way my mind works and the way I go away for solace and stuff like that, I don't think my mind is well equipped to have a child. I'd rather not have a child. And I think that's what, some people really need to do instead. That's why people need to be way more careful when they're having kids. They need to make sure that this is something that their mind can handle. Because I know I can't handle the whole responsibility of being a father to a child. That's a lot.
You're right. It's a 24/7 nonstop for the rest of your life job. So I definitely understand. Now, you have a bright future ahead of you, and let's face it, none of us, Scotty, are getting any younger. So I do have to ask this question. When the fuck are you leaving Mississippi?
You know what? I just had this conversation with somebody today. And this is the most I've thought about leaving Mississippi. Like, it's been on my mind here and there over the years, but at this time, it's been there heavily on my mind. It's been there heavily on my mind about leaving. Most definitely been heavily on my mind. I can't even lie.
You know what came to my mind? That song by Ray, I think, is it Ray Charles? Georgia, Georgia, Georgia on my mind, baby. I feel like you would be, well, we've had this conversation. I feel like you would be great in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm just saying, the sky is the limit for ScottyByNatureTv.
That's definitely where I would go because it's not that far from home, and I'm very attached to my family. That's part of the reason why it'd be so hard for me to think about it. But like I said, it's not that far, and I can't allow my attachment to hold me back any longer because that's been the issue. So
okay, what Mariah Carey say? Mariah said, "Spread your wings and become a butterfly." Okay,
exactly.
So now, before we go to commercial break, because you guys were about to take a commercial break, I need you to answer these questions as fast as you can, really fast. Okay, don't even think about it. Just answer the shit. Okay, you ready? Okay. When it comes to films, which genre do you prefer? Horror, sci-fi, action, romance, or comedy?
Romance.
NYC or LA?
NYC.
The Lion King or Beauty and the Beast?
The Lion King.
Malcolm X or Martin Luther King Jr.?
Oh, Malcolm X.
All right now. Hawaii or the Bahamas?
The mountains.
What? Hawaii or Bahamas? What'd you say? What was the answer?
I thought you said the mountains.
No, Hawaii or Bahamas?
Oh, Hawaii. I'm sorry.
London or Paris?
The Eiffel Tower alone, Paris.
Length or girth? Which one?
You said what now?
Length or girth? Do you like them long or do you like them thick? Which one?
I guess I'll go with the thick one. You don't have to be that long.
Chasing Dallas or chasing Atlanta?
I'm gonna go with Dallas.
Oh, I'm gagging. Okay. Gemini Films or chasing reality?
Chasing reality.
Boys Night Out, The Prelude, or The Just Us League?
Oh my God. Boys Night Out.
R&B or hip hop?
R&B.
I knew you was gonna say that. Okay, I knew it. 80s, 90s, or 2000s music?
90s.
Brandy or Monica?
Monica.
I knew it. Oh, the Brandy fans, they tight right now in the comments. Okay. Martin or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Martin.
My type of guy. My type of guy. Medea movies or Medea stage plays?
The stage plays.
Aaliyah or Ciara?
Aaliyah.
Mary J. Blige or Toni Braxton?
Mary.
Who's more attractive to you, Tank or Ace Hood?
Oh my God. So hard. That's so hard. That's so hard. Okay, Tank.
Yeah, I had to do my research. I had to do my research on you. I saw you. I saw you drooling over there. I saw you. Last question. Who's the better rapper to you, Tupac or Biggie?
Seriously? I'm gonna go with Tupac.
I know that's right. Okay. Okay. Period. And it's no shade to Biggie. You know, Biggie, give me one more chance. I love you, but Tupac is just that dude. No shade. No shade.
Yes, he is.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have gotten to know Scotty by Nature a lot more than we did before the interview started, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into his 10-year, his decade YouTube career, baby. So don't go nowhere. You are watching the TTB podcast.
You trying to be relevant and it's not working. Don't be condescending with me because this is a problem that you do not want. The problem is you. You're the problem. Let me be me.
Exactly. You sound one pill away from HIV positive. More healthy than you, girl. I'm more healthy than you, girl. I should like Devontae. Fuck you. So let's all go outside, play some music, and just gonna walk. And we all. And they ain't come to beat your ass? No. Like, I was saying.
Ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here at the TTB podcast. And as you guys can see, I still have my special guest, YouTube veteran. You heard that? Veteran. 10 years in the game. All you other hoes, well, we got to catch up. ScottyByNatureTv is still here. Now, before I get into your YouTube history, I have to ask you the $1 million question that everybody wants to know about you.
Okay.
How big is your dick? I'm just playing. But seriously, what is the biggest dick you've ever taken or would take?
Honestly, I don't know, cause I don't measure. I really just don't be paying attention to how big it is. To be honest, it's about how it makes me feel. So I mean, I don't know.
What you mean? You don't know if you've seen a 12-inch or a 7-inch? I mean,
Because most of them that I had were pretty decent sizes, so it's not like I've never experienced a real small one at all. Maybe one time, and he just, oh my God, that was a terrible one night stand. But yeah, just about everybody had a decent one. So
all right, you guys, you heard Scotty. He said no shrimps for him. Okay.
and some of the tops that I've had, have given me head because of my size. So just to throw that out there too.
You better brag on your dick, period. What's your freak scale, 1 to 10? How freaky would you say? With 10 being the freakiest.
I would give myself maybe an 8 or a 9.
Wow, isn't that amazing how you were so shy until you turned until you went to college, and now you just like, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that night and fucking day, right? It's amazing. Are you a cat or dog person?
I don't like neither. But if I had to choose, I'd choose a dog because I actually had a pet dog at one point. So, I say.
Do you not like animals? I know you don't like kids. Now we're against animals. What's going on? Are you Team PETA or what? What's happening?
I mean, I don't have a problem with animals. I think that because I had a pet dog for all those years and it passed away when I was in high school, I never wanted another pet after he died. So just like, but I hate cats. That's one thing about it. I hate cats.
If you could watch a movie over and over and over again for the rest of your life, what movie would that be?
I'm so gay. Waiting to exhale. Because I love that movie.
She said, why don't you fucking marry him then? Click.
My favorite part.
If you had a song that you would have to listen to for the rest of your life, you could only listen to one song.
That is so hard. Ugh. Okay. I'm just gonna choose the first song that popped in my head because there's so many that I could be all day talking about this. But I'm just gonna choose the one that's at the top of my head, and that's probably "Real Love" by Mary J. Blige, because that's one of my favorite songs by her, and is probably one of my favorite R&B songs ever. Anyway, and I play it a lot anyway, so that's the first one that pops into my head.
The original or the one with Biggie?
The original, because the one with Biggie is okay, but nothing beats the original.
Okay, I'm gagging. You didn't say a Monica song. No shade. Sorry, Monica. Now let's go into YouTube. Okay, would you ever date somebody who's on YouTube, like in your field, or you can't do it?
I already did. I already did.
Okay. All right. Who knew? Okay. Now, what made you want to become a YouTuber?
Okay, so here's the thing, because I never wanted to go on YouTube. Let's just make that clear. That I never wanted to do it. But it started on Facebook. I used to write these little notes. They used to have like the note thing on the note application on Facebook back then. And I would write a note every week talking about something. And I got tired of writing notes every week. It became a thing. Everybody be looking forward to what I'm going to say this week. And I'm like, I'm tired of doing this. So I started making videos. I started my own like Facebook type of show. It was called The Bottom Line Is. And I would make videos every single week. And then I bring like my friends from college on there. We would have different types of discussions and stuff. And then it was crazy because people in the area would see me somewhere. Like I'll be at the mall and they'd be like, oh, I heard them say, that's that boy that be doing Facebook videos and stuff. Like people was actually seeing me out and knowing who I was. And I didn't know who the hell they was, but they knew who I was when they seen the videos. So one of my friends said, if you getting that type of traction on Facebook, then you should try to go to YouTube and see what you could do there. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. So these people can be dragging me. I'm not gonna do that. But then I was like, why not? You know what I mean? Why not? Because I was watching back then, before I even started my YouTube channel, I was always watching the Scorpion Show, like Kevin and McHale, all day, every day. Every time they had a video, I was the first to watch.
I'm sorry, but I love Kevin. Hi, Kevin. I haven't seen him in years, but he's just amazing. Continue.
Yeah, he was the first, one of the first that I watched. It was him, and then it was these two girls that was just like a female Scorpion show. They went by the name Sweet Addictions TV. I love them. And I was watching Spoken Reasons back then. And then it was also Brian B back then. And it was somebody else, Quadir, and it was Cadillac Kimberly. I know that when I saw her video on, because I will always say that Kevin and McHale pretty much inspired me to do what I'm doing, which they did. But when I saw Cadillac Kimberly do her video on Eddie Long that time, I was like, oh bitch, I gotta do YouTube now. I just know that was just the one all be all for me. Once I saw her do her Eddie Long video and I saw how it blew up, I said, well, I can do this shit too. But I just really didn't know what I was gonna do. But I said, okay, I love reality TV. Why won't I just build my channel around reality television? And that's how it really started. And then of course, it went into some other things as I continued, but that's pretty much how it started. I was scared as fuck. Those early, the dark ages, which is like 2010 to like maybe 2013. Those are the dark ages. I do not like looking at those videos. Oh my God. Ugh.
I'm just so happy you brought up my friend Kevin. He's such an amazing guy in real life, and people, because we live in a microwavable society, people often forget our goats. And you got to remember, like they during that Rihanna and Chris Brown situation, that the controversy where I think Barbara Walters, somebody interviewed her, and they used the Scorpion show clip during that interview. That's how big they were.
Yeah, like people sometimes act as if they don't remember that. Like, yeah, we in another time. Yeah, there's other YouTubers out there now, and you're not gonna be hot forever. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna always be the same, but we can't forget what they did and how they opened up so many doors for people like me, because I always give them that respect. I always give them that respect, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be here. I wouldn't be here because
a lot of people wouldn't be here.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of us wouldn't be here because a lot of us were all fans of his before we even started our channels. Like, a lot of us were fans of his. And I always say that a lot. Like, I was a big fan of Kevin. Stayed waiting on videos every single week, every day. I'd be like, okay, when the next video coming out? Like, it's so many things I can say about the Scorpion show, but I always give him that respect. He knows how I feel. He knows that I always cite him as one of my biggest inspirations. So he knows.
Yes, give the Scorpion show that motherfucking flowers. And Kevin is such a cool. If you ever meet Kevin in person, he is the chillest motherfucker everywhere. So you're now known as ScottyByNatureTv, but your very first name was Mr. Still Standing. Why that particular name, and why did you change it?
To be honest, I made that name because I was a big fan of Monica, and her album was her album was Still Standing. That's the album that was out, and I just added a Mr. to it, really. That's because I really didn't have the time to figure out the damn name. To be honest, that's why I chose that name. And I hated it. I hated it. And I just never knew what to name myself until last year when I switched it up to Scotty by Nature. The funny story behind Scotty by Nature is back when I was working at that very store that we discussed earlier when that assault thing happened, it's this girl that worked with me. She would always call me Scotty by Nature. She'll be playing off the whole naughty by nature thing. But for whatever reason, she would always call me Scotty by Nature, Scotty by Nature, Scotty by Nature. And I remember changing my Instagram name to Scotty by Nature. I remember changing it to that. And then I was just saying, like last year, because I was trying to rebrand myself, I was like, if I'm gonna rebrand myself, I'm gonna rebrand myself. I'm gonna change. I'm finally gonna change this whack ass name and give it something that I actually like. And I said, Scotty by Nature. Alicia, that was her name. Alicia gave me this name in 2014. So I'm gonna call it Scotty by Nature, and I'm just gonna add the TV part to it. So, you know, that's how I came up. That's how Scotty by Nature came up. And I actually thanked her for that on Facebook maybe about a month ago. And I thanked her for that whole Scotty by Nature name. I gave her the credit because that's where it came from. So, because I didn't come up with that, she came up with that.
So your name in real life is what? Scotty?
Yeah, that's my real name, Scotty.
Okay, now, do you remember the first video you ever uploaded to YouTube? If so, what was it about, really quickly?
The very first video I posted, it was basically like, it wasn't like, you know, are you talking about like an actual video or just like, because the very first video I ever posted was basically me talking about what the channel was going to be about.
Okay, well, like your first actual video then.
Well, my first actual video that I uploaded to YouTube, I don't remember which one it was. I want to say it was the Blood Ain't Thicker Than Water video, because that video was posted on Facebook and YouTube. Because at first I was posting my Facebook stuff on my YouTube stuff at the beginning, right before I stopped doing Facebook. So I think that was the very first video. I think it was that Blood Ain't Thicker Than Water video. It was either that or we was talking about Eddie Long. It was one of those two. But I really believe it was the Blood Ain't Thicker Than Water video. And that's when I was talking about how my cousin found that I was gay and he went off on me.
Is that video still up?
Yeah, all my videos are still up.
Okay, because you know sometimes people's YouTube channels get taken down, whatever the fuck. Okay. Now, what do you remember your first YouTube check? And if you do, how much was it?
Okay, so I did not get paid from YouTube until about 5 years ago, because I did not know how to set my my AdSense account. And at that time, I was friends with Justin J and Adrian. I was friends with them. I was very good friends with them at that time.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get to them. Well, to Justin.
So yeah, I was friends with them both at that time. And Justin was like, why you ain't getting your coins? I said, I don't know how to set this up. So I finally set it up. And basically because I had never gotten paid, it was basically me getting all this money back from all the videos that I had made money off of, and I never seen the money. So the very first YouTube check was like a good $4,000. It was a big ass lump sum. It was like $4,000 that I got. That was my very first check. But the rest of them checks wasn't like that. But that first check was a big one. It was $4,000. That's how much it was.
Come on, $4,000. But listen, I love that segue that you did, because that's where I was going next. Now, from what I know, I could be wrong, but you started really making waves in the community when you linked up with Justin, who, if I'm correct, is now known as King of Reeds.
Yes.
Okay. How did you guys initially link up?
Okay, so this was in 2013, and this is basically when my channel had really started to really grow, because the first 2 years I was but around the time Love and Hip Hop Atlanta season 2 came out, that's when I really started to get noticed a little bit. So somebody it was on Twitter, somebody put us in the same tweet, and I didn't know him. I had never heard of him before, because at that time I only really knew like Kevin, the people that was doing the same shit as me. I only knew like Kevin, Much Love from KY, Bundy Blue, Ashley Miller. Those are the only ones that I knew at that time. So I was like, who the hell is Justin J? And then I went and I watched his videos, a couple of his videos, and I enjoyed them. I thought they were absolutely hilarious. And I shouted him out, and then people came back to him and told him who I was and that I shouted him out. And then he shouted me out. And then it went from there. And then we followed each other on Twitter. And then we just started to become really, really cool on the internet. And then it became even more when we exchanged numbers and stuff. That's how we became friends. And then he lived in Memphis at that time, and I was still here. So he was only 2 hours away from me. So he had came down to hang out with me and stuff. Like, he's been to my house. He met my mom and all that stuff before. Like, we was actually friends. So that's how that happened.
What, you guys were just strictly platonic?
Strictly platonic. He knew all about my, at the time, crush on Bubs the God and all of that stuff. Like, he was around for all of that stuff back then.
Wait, you that just threw me off. That whole Bubs the God shit just threw me off. So you had a crush on Bubs the God in 2013?
Yeah.
Oh wow, interesting. Okay, so ooh, child, why did that relationship fall apart? And do you ever see yourselves mending the friendship?
I honestly don't know why it fell apart. I feel.
Come on, Scotty. Come
no,
on.
honestly, no, I'm being real because we never had an argument. We never cursed each other out or anything like that. I think that he felt as though I wasn't supportive of him because I would just honestly say it really started when the second blackout happened and I wasn't able to go. And he felt that I didn't try hard enough to go. It's like he felt that I was just set in my ways. At least that's the way I took it. And then the next time, he had his main event thing going on, and I couldn't go to that either. And then, you know what I'm saying? He had like a dance competition in the same city as me. Well, not really the same city, but he had something like in Jackson, which is like 30 minutes away from me. And, you know, at the time, we really wasn't speaking that much, but I didn't know that he had something going on. But when he told me, I'm like, well, I can't go. Every time he wanted me to do something, I couldn't do it at the time. And it wasn't on purpose. I sincerely just couldn't do it. And he felt that he wasn't supportive, and he felt that I wasn't being supportive of him. That's how I feel. He felt that I wasn't supporting him. So, you know, it is what it is. And the only issue that I had with him, that's the way I'm interpreting everything now. But back then I was just mainly pissed because, you know how when you're in YouTube and you're friends with people on YouTube and subscribers can sometimes create drama and shit like that. They were telling me that, oh, he being shady towards you, or oh, he don't like you. And then I'll come to him and address it, and he'll be like, you know, we don't have a problem. But in all actuality, we really did have a problem. But I didn't know we had one until he said what he said on his live that night when he was back in my area. And that was the end of the friendship, because after he said that stuff on the live, I was on live too and didn't know he was even on live. And everybody told me to go watch it. And when I watched his live, I had called him and stuff. He didn't answer, and I texted him and he had never answered either. So that was pretty much the end of that relationship. Like, I guess to me, it was mainly, he was in his feelings about stuff. He felt that I wasn't supportive of him, but I feel like I was always supportive of him. It's just that during that time, there was a lot going on in my life. He had a lot of just like he had a lot of personal issues going on, so did I. But he didn't know that because he had his own stuff going on. So, I mean, I don't know.
When was the last time, what year was that, the last year that you spoke to?
2017.
Oh, wow. So that's like, what, four, almost 5 years ago? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 4 years.
Okay. If you could say one thing to him right now, looking directly in the camera, what would you say to the King of Reeds right now, aka Justin, if anything?
Let's see. I'm happy that you've gotten far as you have. You are an inspiration. He's also, I say that, no matter what our relationship was or is, you're a big inspiration as far as rebranding and knowing your audience and knowing what to do to grow yourself and better yourself. And I'm just happy for all the things that you have going on in life at this point. I mean, you interview Lil Nas X for crying out loud. The best that I can do is interview a reality star on the OWN network. You know what I'm saying? But you interview Lil Nas X, that's a big thing. So I never take away nothing that he's ever done. Like he has done a lot of great things in the YouTube sphere as well as LGBT YouTube. He is one of those premier people. And, you know, ain't no hate over here. I don't hate on nobody, whether I like them or not.
Come on, growth. And like life is too short. I feel like it's just all a misunderstanding, and God will work it all the fuck out in due time. But Scotty, don't ever down yourself, okay? Because you said the only person, the biggest I could do is our own network. That's huge. That's the Oprah Winfrey Network. Okay? Don't ever forget that. That's Oprah. Okay?
That's true. That's true. That's true.
No shit. Little Nas X is, you know, he cute for little ying 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 around the house. But this is Oprah. This is Oprah motherfucking Winfrey. Okay. Now, for a YouTube veteran who's been in the game now for a decade, why do you think it took you years to not let the comment section bother you? Like, why not just put the haters on mute or just block them or ignore the comments altogether? Why let it affect you on such an emotional level, especially because we all know there's so many fucking trolls out there anyway?
I think it has a lot to do with my past because I grew up, you know, getting bullied and stuff like that. Like I've been very open about that. I'm very much so an advocate of anti-bullying. And I grew up getting teased and taunted every day. So, you know, when people say they get bullied in school, then it affects their adult life, that's really true. So a lot of times people don't even be meaning no harm, but I could take it personal. I'm just now starting to learn that it's really not that serious and everybody's not going to like you. Like, you know, coming into this, I wanted everybody to like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit up here and lie. I wanted everybody to like me because in my real life, I'm a very likable person. Everybody likes me. You know what I mean? There's not many people that have anything negative to say about me. And like I always say, if you don't like me, then you just got low self-esteem if you don't like me, because there's no reason not to like me. But you're not going to be for everybody. And I had to learn that. And there's people, sometimes people's negativity can be something that you can turn into positivity. Like people used to criticize me on a lot of stuff, but I realized maybe they were right. Because once I stopped doing certain things and started doing other things, that's when my channel finally started to get somewhere. This is the most visibility I've had in over the 10 years I've been, you know, well, next month makes 11 years, over the 10 and a half years I've been here, you know, because I was able to rebrand myself, not only rebrand myself, but just do things in a different way and put myself in certain circles for me to elevate. And it was crazy to me is I'm considered a vet, which is really weird. I never would have thought that I would be considered that at all. But it's funny how I can mingle with the OGs, but also mingle with the ones that's coming up at the same time. I could find myself on both ends. You know what I mean? Because people that's coming up, it'd be funny to me when I be seeing people that's coming up and I go in their lives and I super chat them and then they're like, oh my God, I've been watching your stuff. And I'm like, I am not that fucking important.
Yes, you are in the community. Yes, you are in the community.
I'd be so surprised. Very surprised.
You better look in that mirror and say, I am Scotty by Nature TV. Okay? Okay. Put some motherfucking respect on your name and all your hard work that you've done out here in these YouTube streets. Because it ain't easy, Scott. It's not easy, okay?
At all. Maybe that's just me being modest, but you know, that's just.
And that's cute. That's cute. Being modest and being humble, it's amazing. But sometimes you gotta look yourself in the mirror and be like, I am that bitch. I am that bitch. I am that bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now, how did you link up with Jamar84 to create the Prelude, and who came up with that name?
Well, Jamar and I have been friends since 2013. Me and him, I met him around the same, not really around the same summer I met Justin and Adrian. It was the four of us were actually friends. All four of us were friends. We was like a little foursome. All of us were friends. But the thing of it is, Jamar and I remained close even after me and Justin stopped being friends. And I can't even say me and Adrian were not friends. It's just, I don't know. It's just that I'm guessing, you know, he was more closer to Justin than he was to me. So I'm guessing that's just how that goes. But Jamar remained a close friend of mine. And, you know, it was just like we were best friends. We always discussed doing a podcast or something like that. And at first, the first time we had that idea, we wanted it to be a podcast with me, him, Justin, and Adrian. But the four of us talked about it, but we never went, you know, we never talked about it again after that. We never really came to pass with it. And then after a while, Jamar and I wanted to do a podcast years later, but we didn't think nobody would pay attention to us. We didn't think nobody really would care because we were both small YouTubers. And on top of that, we were both stagnant at that time. I was still stuck at 15K for a long time. And, you know, Jamar was kind of at a crossroads with what he wanted to do as far as content on his channel. So when I got into a certain situation, me and him both said in 2020, we're going to revitalize our brands and we're going to come together and do this podcast. So we actually was supposed to do a podcast. That was the idea. We was going to do a podcast, but then COVID happened. And then Jamar didn't know if he would be able to have his end of the bargain as far as his part of the money to fund the podcast, because his job was laying people off left or right. So he didn't know what was going to happen. So we decided to put those plans on the podcast on hold. And I said, well, there's StreamYard, so maybe we could do a show on YouTube and see how it goes. And the show is a prelude to the podcast. That's how the name Prelude came up. But it winded up turning into something else, because it was just like a pop culture type show. And then when we started interviewing like the G Status guys, and then it later winded up being a spot for people on those shows to have interviews. Then the Chasing the Atlanta Boys, then the Chasing Dallas Retreat people, and then other LGBT shows started coming to us for interviews. And that's what that became, a platform for LGBT reality stars and musicians, because we interviewed people like Barry P, DJ, Eli Liberty, like all of those different people that are LGBT musicians or something like that. So it just became a platform for them to promote their stuff and just be interviewed. So it became much more than what we thought it was going to be.
Look at God. And now you're all over season 3 of Chasing Dallas. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Congratulations to you and Jamar84, by the way. Now, name your favorite and worst interview from the Prelude show.
My favorite interview would have to be what was my favorite? Oh my God. Probably the one that we did with Dre Simber, because it was fucking hilarious. That whole interview was hilarious, and I could not keep my composure. That whole fucking interview was fucking hilarious. Even though he has issues with some people in the Justice League and shit like that, I try not to involve myself in that type of stuff. But it was funny. That whole interview was funny. Now, the worst interview for me was the last one that we did with Mulatto on the Circle Atlanta. And that's because I wasn't necessarily the most prepared. And on top of that, I was beat out, like worn the fuck out from working 7-day or 7-day week and all of that other stuff without rest. I was just not in it. And she knew I wasn't in it. And she even said that my energy was kind of down, and it was. Like, that was probably the one that I just didn't enjoy because of my energy.
All right, listen. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We have to take our last commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to finish off the interview with Scotty by Nature TV. So keep it right here. You are watching the TTB podcast.
I'm sitting here waiting for my boo to come over, and I am so nervous.
Nervous? You need to have a drink.
And you know what's so crazy? I literally just ordered chai tenders. Child, let me get up and have me a drink. Yeah. There you go. Bam! Baby, this is fire, man. Who nervous, baby? You not nervous. You are ready. You can do this. You are fabulous. You look good. You tall, baby. You walking like you talking. You is great. Period. Ooh. Jaw tennis. I need another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. And as you guys can still see, I know you motherfuckers are not blind out there. We still have the YouTube vet, the icon in these streets. Okay, because that's what I call him. Scotty by Nature TV is still here. Now, before the commercial break, we were diving into his 10-year-long YouTube career, okay? So, Scotty, you know, you've expanded your platform so much. Now you have, multiple shows, things of that nature. Which show is currently your favorite to record?
I would have to say Boys Night Out.
Wow.
Okay, even though, like, because I'm gonna be honest, because even though, like, it gets views, but it just doesn't get the same views as, per se, my Housewives channel or something like that. But it has a smaller audience, but I love to do it because those guys up there are really my friends. Every single one of them are. So yes, we all met because of YouTube, but they're really my friends. Like, we really have, like, of course, everybody knows Jamar is probably one of my best friends off and online and offline. And then, Terrence and I, we became friends like 2 years ago on here. Josiah and I, we became friends like a year ago when I started working with him on other stuff. And, we're going to be in Atlanta next Friday, this coming up Friday, to support Jamar. And then Maddie is Jamar's best friend, but I'm building my own relationship with him. So it's this whole brotherhood type of dynamic that we have, and that's why I enjoy doing it more than any of them. That's probably my favorite one to do.
All right, come on, brotherhood. I know that's right. You upload a lot of videos, okay, every single day. You don't miss a beat. Now, how do you find the time between working, your regular 9 to 5 to do all of that? It's only 24 hours in a day, Scotty. How do you do this?
I don't even know how I do it, but which was my issue in the past with videos. I think the more consistent I've become over the last year, the more viewers I've gotten, the more traction I've gotten. It's difficult because I do work a 9 to 5 job, 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, all of that good stuff. And I tend to film 3, 4, 5 videos at a time and edit them all and not get no sleep some nights. Like, it's just that excruciating because I really be trying. So it can be difficult, but I push myself to do it. It's just that this past Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that, I had to let myself rest. Because sometimes I can just probably overdo it sometimes, work and come home and work all over again and not let myself rest. Sometimes you do have to take that day to rest. But once I get that day to rest, I'm back on it. Like, I just push myself to do it. Like, it's, I just got to make sure everybody being fed over here,
I know that's right, because they damn sure love to eat, but health is wealth. Take care of you always first. Mm-hmm. Now, you had a 10-year celebration live on YouTube with your friends and whatnot and other content creators. And it is legendary because it was crashed by Corday and YB Entertainment TV. Now, what the fuck was going through your head while this whole clash was happening? It was legendary.
I was so annoyed that night. I was so irritated by that, like very much so, because I don't know Corday. I only know him because of G status, but I don't know Corday. I don't know much about him. Why are you coming on my platform to talk shit to YB? That was so damn annoying. And Jamar and I were texting while we was up there. We were texting each other while we was up there. Jamar said, "Do you want me to stop this?" I'm like, "Please stop it, because if I say something, then it's gonna go left. So just tell them to stop." Jamar was like, "Okay, we're done. We're done. We're done. We're done." You know, like it's just, and then we were trying to let Corday speak, but it was just like he wasn't making no sense. And I was just over it at that point. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. Like L Teddy and the rest of them was trying to talk to him, but I had nothing else to say. And I'm just like, fuck it. I was so mad. That just put a damper on that whole 10-year anniversary. I was so mad. Just thinking about it makes me roll my eyes. I was so irritated. He apologized, but he apologized though. Corday did apologize to me. I think the next day he apologized, and I accepted it. But I was just like, but whatever, you know. I'm still mad, but I accepted it. He didn't have to apologize.
So looking back on it, you're not like, this shit was iconic. That shit was...
I ain't gonna lie, I have gone back to listen to their spat. It is funny now, but at that moment, I was not here for it. At that moment, I was so over it when they was going back and forth.
Ooh, child, that was a moment. Okay, when I saw that moment, I was like, what is happening? But from the last 10 years, besides the moment we just talked about, do you have a standout moment that will just live with you until the end of time?
Standout moment. I would say when I interviewed Latrice from Bell Collective, because that was someone that I knew personally. And that was someone that was on network TV. And that was a big interview for the Prelude. And that stands out to me because this is probably one of the biggest things that we did. So yeah, that's a standout moment. And if I had to choose just one more just to piggyback off of that, it would probably be that 25K docu thing that Brandon edited and put all together for me and all that other stuff. That's a standout too, because I still watch it.
Now, for those who don't know, Brandon is Bubs the God. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Put that out there. Now, for me, I thought you were gonna say the time that you and Bubs the God, you guys hosted or helped host the Come Up reunion.
I almost forgot about that. That is a standout too. That's a standout as well. It's so many of them, but that's a standout too.
What is your end goal? What do you want out of YouTube?
You know what? I never just thought about that like that. I do know that I could see myself like just being like a media personality, like hosting and maybe being like the Breakfast Club, because I used to love the Breakfast Club, but I used to love the Breakfast Club. I always wanted my own radio show. Like, you know, I've always wanted that. Just like, you know, me and Jamar or the whole boys night out having their own morning show or something like that. Something like that, you know, anywhere where I can run my mouth and get paid for it.
I know that's right. What do you have a dream guest in your mind? Like, who was the one person you would love to interview?
K. Michelle.
Oh, okay. Didn't see that cut. I damn sure didn't see that cut. Why her?
Because I love K. Michelle. And I think that she's open and honest, just like me. So I think we have me and Jamal will have a lot of fun interviewing her.
I know that's right. Now, what is next for the Scotty by Nature TV YouTube channel?
Boys Night Out is on hiatus until the 15th. We're switching some things around. We're trying to elevate it a little bit. Certain games that we played, we won't be playing them anymore. But we may have some games that's similar to it, but we're just gonna remix it around. It's gonna be a lot of remixing going on for Boys Night Out. We did our first 10 episodes, they were great, but now we just want to do more things with that show. We still have the prelude. We're about to start back up with the interviews and stuff now, with Chase and Dallas being out, and the Come Up being out, all the other LGBT shows being out. Trying to have, like, say for instance, like, because Chase and Dallas is out there, or because the Come Up is coming out, or since y'all squashed y'all shit.
We're gonna bleep that out. We're definitely bleeping that out.
Okay. But with all of them coming out, we're gonna have them all on Boys Night Out too. Like, we had this plan to have everybody. I just had to say that. But we had a plan to have, like, certain people from each show just come on Boys Night Out with us, not to be interviewed, but to participate in the show, but also promote their own show at the same time. You know what I mean?
I know that's right. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I love that cast. So, whew, I almost went the fuck off just now. Let me not go off during your motherfucking interview, okay? Because I already
I wasn't trying to do that.
Now, let's not. You appeared first on the TTB Network YouTube channel on How Smart Are You, episode 1. People loved you on the show. Did you cringe when you watched it back?
Oh my God, yes. I haven't watched it since the first time I saw it. I will never watch it again.
Now, speaking of this platform, you have a new show called The Rundown coming very soon, right here to this TTB Network YouTube channel. Now, what can our audience expect you to bring to that show? Like, how are you going to be? What are you doing?
Well, first of all, of course, you're going to see my pretty face and my spunk and charisma and stuff like that. But this is pretty much, it's like a pop culture show. I'm just giving you the rundown on all the tea that's going on throughout the week. Oh, damn, that rhyme. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, okay? I'm very excited about it. Nervous, but excited. You know what I mean? So, just like you support my own platform, you can come over and support me over here as well. And, he has really welcomed me with open arms. And I remember when he first reached out to me to do the show, I'm just like, little old me, there's plenty of other people he could have asked, but he asked me.
Right. Of course. Come on, you've been doing this. Who better than Scotty? Okay, who better than Scotty? No shade to the others. Thank you so much, Scotty, for being on this TTV podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you all subscribe to Scotty's YouTube channel, which is Scotty by Nature TV, for non-stop daily content. He is bringing the fucking heat over there. And with that, folks, we are out this bitch. Okay. Thank you, Scotty, so much. Bye. And bye to everybody watching. Until next time.